Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. Bottom right hand corner we got Bayaster starting as the red Protoss. Bottom left hand corner we got Fischei starting as the teal Protoss. And this is once again starting off on Radeon. This is actually, I think, my marquee matchup of round one. It's a little unfortunate these guys are playing against each other in the first round, because I could definitely see if they ended up against other opponents, they would likely be in the 1 and 0 slot going out of the field. In fact, I would not be shocked to see these guys in the round of 4. Right now, the strong players I'm looking at, Worst looked really strong in his matches in PvP, and there's a lot of Protoss out here in the field, so that bodes well for him because it's nothing but Protoss and Zerg. We don't have any Terran to deal with. Fischei, of course, always a contender. I could see him going deep. Maybe this is his season. I would be really hype if that was the case, because man, he's come so close so many times. Bayaster, another guy who's a big threat and can go deep. And Yui was the other guy amongst the Zerg field that was really stood out to me as far as his level of play. It's interesting we had so many mirror matchups actually in the initial stages. I'm trying to think, did we have a PvP? I think we had all mirror matchups across the board. It was PvP or ZVZ initial stages. I'm going to have to make a little bit more bias towards the Zerg players so we can see more Zerg, so it doesn't end up becoming like Fighting Spirit Mania with nothing but Protoss for ad nauseum towards the end. Anyway, gateway opener on 10 for both these guys to start. Fischei sending out an initial scout. Bayaster actually staying interior to his base. Some players do opt for this to get that slight economic advantage and try to use later scouting with their units to try to get an idea as far as what their opponent is up to. Fischei, is he going to get to... It looks like he's going to go top right. We'll see if he goes bottom right as far as a follow-up. Interesting, he's going for... Never mind, he's going to go for middle scout just to see if it was a 2-gate. So going top right, top left. Unfortunately, that usually means he's going to go for the counterclockwise scout from, or the clockwise scout from there, and which means he's not going to get that information. Which means Bayaster with a later scout is going to end up with, first of all, more resources in the pocket overall. And if he goes left first, this is going to be absolutely just the luck of the draw to start. It looks like he is headed towards the north. Is he going to check mid map as well? I feel like this is a late mid-map scout to check for 2-gate, but he is going to go ahead and check mid-map because this is the place where it would be, and now making his way top right. So at the very least, it's going to be equalized as far as raw information game. Slight economic lead in the form of gas from Bayaster, as far because he kept that probe in a little bit later. Fischei now going bottom right. This was actually a nice adjustment from Fischei. They ran into each other's workers heading top right, so was able to save a little bit of time and make that movement adjustment. We have a Zealot on the ramp both directions, but this is a pretty wide ramp and it's very difficult to blockade. Looks like Fischei is going to get here earlier, and Bayaster able to get a lick of damage, but not much else. Not even able to shred the shield, so able to wander in, trying to do a little bit of micro the opposite direction, and is just going to get a spot of info. At the very least, is he going to be able to confirm? Oh, never mind. The Zealot got the kill. So, and is Bayaster going to end up getting that probe out? It's the small victories sometimes. The Dragoon on the hunt, not able to get the kill. And as a result, Bayaster kept that probe in later and is going to be able to get that probe out, which is giving him that one probe. Well, I spoke too soon. Spoke too soon. Is he going to get here? Okay, we have the rescue Dragoon, and now Fischei needs to be careful because he just took 2 free shots, and this could be a moving shot battle all the way. If he took some base damage, that would be... So things not working out in the early game here for Fischei. It's nothing game ending, but it's giving Bayaster a 2-worker lead. And it's kind of the small things that then start boiling over into the larger things, right? So range upgrade, second gateway down. I think this is going to be 2-gate robotics, where we have 1-gate robo on the opposite end. That should give... So something working out for Fischei, theoretically, depending on how this plays out. But if this does turn into 2-gate robo, that should give Fischei the defensive lead if he wants to go 1-gate Reaver into expansion from there. We'll see what Bayaster opts to do. There is kind of a timing off the 2-gate where you can kind of shove in and end up getting a lot of damage done. And although I feel like Semi's one of the guys who pulled the trick on that, Bayaster actually making his way forward. He's got a probe in the wings, maybe wanting to pick... I think he wants to pick a fight to push in to confirm the lack or existence of this natural expansion. Probe able to wander down. We'll see if Bayaster follows this up. So he saw that it's going to be an equalized battle, but maybe just wanting to shove for the information. He's starting to stagger forward a little bit. I kind of like this, actually, given that this is a very contained area. and also will give you information. The one problem with this is if it was like 2-3 gate pressure as far as a follow-up, you have some units stranded here now that are going to take some free fire damage on your way back out. But maybe worth the information. It looks like it was in fact 2-gate robo, by the way, opposite corner. So let's see if this turns into, and it looks like it's going to be 2-gate observer robotics support bay from Fischei. So observer first, and I think Fischei is going to grab the expansion shortly after this. Bayaster, yeah, moving forward, taking a lot of focus fire. Nice little bit of micro on both players' ends. The Zealot's going to get wiped out on both sides, but a good amount of focus fire out on that one Dragoon. Fischei, recognizing he had at least proximity, going to push in, but at the very least Bayaster able to confirm the lack of a natural expansion, which should, I think that will trigger him to go ahead and expand. In theory, I'm like, okay, where's the, granted a little bit of resources going to the support bay overall. So tech lead, oh, and he built a Dragoon. I wasn't expecting the additional Dragoon construction. I was expecting a pause in the Dragoon as this observers make its way across. But Fischei should get, yeah, is going to end up with that expansion earlier. Is going to end up with the tech lead, can add on the additional gateway in the midst of this, and should theoretically be ahead as he proceeds, because you're going to have this first Reaver out on the low ground, the shuttle eventually, and he's got the informational advantage. So he's going to be able to walk up and see Bayaster off the 2-gate robo, grabbing his natural expansion. So something working out for Fischei. So a few things working out for Bayaster in the early matches, things shifting back to Fischei as far as a small equalization from there. The observatory coming out later. And I will say, having information at this stage of the game, particularly knowing what the gateway count of your opponent is, I actually kind of like this robotics facility placement as a side note from Bayaster at the forward. I mean, we have the opposite, a similar thing on Fischei's side, but this placement, one, provides the Reaver support very rapidly to get down the ramp. It is a little bit of a vulnerability where you could see some things posted and trying to shoot over the wall, but also if the observer pops out at this close location where usually you want that observer in this region to keep an eye on that gateway count. If you have Dragoons popping out near the same time as that observer, it's a little bit dicier to get out. And you can actually see, I'm wondering if Fischei is taking that into account at all. Probably not. He's hovering that observer to the north right this second. But natural expansion up, Fischei is going to have a few moments, and a few moments only, to go ahead and get a slight economic boost out of this. Supply count's basically dead even otherwise. So this is going to give Fischei that very, very slight bump in workers. So probably a 1-2 worker lead and a little bit of extra resources. Fischei actually fanning out, wondering if there's a drop on the way. And we're going to go ahead and draw his observer back. Bayaster wandering out. Is he going to go for a quick third? Or is he just going to put a pylon? I think I'm expecting a defensive pylon here, but he is stacking a lot of resources and keeping a probe in kind of an odd situation. This would be an unusual play. And I'm going to have to think about it on Radeon in particular. So pocketing it briefly, maybe he's trying to see if there's a shimmer. Did he intentionally box that probe in? Is he going air? I don't know if that, I don't think that was intentional, because now we have a boxed in probe at the 3 o'clock location, and it doesn't look like he's canceling that. I think that was just a vacant miss. The observer getting picked off over the high ground, by the way. And the opposite thing, Fischei starting to make his way out. Bayaster with a slight supply lead out of nowhere, going ahead and grabbing his second gas. No second gas yet here from Fischei. But this, a little bit unusual. We'll see if it turns around. The observer able to walk in, able to confirm the second gas. Not that far behind, but a few ticks behind. Bayaster investing. I'm kind of wondering where Bayaster got these additional resources, because is it in a difference in a Reaver? He's got a shuttle. Yeah, so the 1 Reaver difference is what the difference is here. So Fischei going to go ahead and pick away at the front. The observer getting an eyeful opposite corner. Getting backed up. Defensive Reaver opposite end, and this is where actually, well, we'll see how it works out. The shuttle scooping up, trying to back out. A lot of Dragoons taking damage, and Fischei doing a great job, although these 2 Dragoons getting distracted on high ground attacks and not participating in the fight. Doesn't seem to matter, though, because the Reavers are being microed very, very well. Defensive pylon is down as well. Finally, those Dragoons are dead on the high ground. Fischei able to get a lot of damage with that 1 Reaver, really just getting a massive capitalization out of just a 1 Reaver advantage. Pushing into this natural expansion. So Fischei showing some good stuff, reinforcing with the Dragoons, and still getting free shots off. Still getting free shots off on the edge of vision. And this is where having that robotics facility on the edge actually might be detrimental, but takes a huge hit on his Reavers along that corner edge. The rest of the Dragoons thinking that Oh man, nice dancing by Bayaster. And Fischei dropping the micro a little bit. Did the shuttle get taken out? The shuttle did get taken out of nowhere. I thought the shuttle was going to survive and that was going to be a big win, but Fischei getting one last shot into the probe line, doing a lot of damage. Holy cow, how did that shuttle get wiped out? That was the last, it must have been the last fire, and that was with 2 Reavers in it, which completely shifted that. For a moment, I thought that was going to go strong by Axter's direction, but instead, a bunch of workers killed, a whole bunch of Dragoons wiped out. We do have 4 gateways behind this. It looks like it's going to be 4 gateways versus 4. So Fischei ahead, and just a nice amount of damage done in that last exchange. Observer peeling up. We also have this kind of probe latently looking at that third. Is there something where Protoss have been taking weird early third bases recently in this matchup that I've missed? Looks like Fischei not finished. Going to go ahead and try to get some additional damage, and man, Bayaster late to react. So he's going to end up losing a hand. And that was a nice targeting, by the way. Oh, loses the shuttle. I think that was only a single Reaver in it, though. And I'm going to say probably worth it because he's just definitely ahead in the midst of this. Yeah, I think it was only a single shuttle. This guy got dropped off and then sent back. But Fischei in a really strong position still. He's got a sizable worker lead. We do have this latent probe in the upper left, and I'm wondering if Bayaster's thinking maybe I should sneak something. Right now, he's got 2 Reaver out in a very defensive position. Really can't. It's kind of a, and he's going to see the units coming out. The one advantage right now is this observer is on the forward field. There's no counter observer, and this observer is not getting a ton of information. It's not seeing these Dragoons piled back here, and we are seeing that hidden nexus upper left. That was kind of what I was waiting for. Let's see if Fischei manages to scout another Reaver scooting down. I think the Reaver got picked off. A couple shuttle damage. Sorry, I missed that, guys. Was more wondering if this, if we're going to see this probe making its way around. We don't have an observer or a probe checking the latent area. But Bayaster, I think this is an intelligent maneuver, going for that naked nexus, trying to defend with what you can against Fischei, which he's shown a lot of aggression. I mean, he's even dived in and lost some additional Reaver in the midst of this. He sees the units moving out, sees the shuttle making its way out, and that's going to open up a counter opportunity, potentially, on the low ground, taking a single shot. There's a Reaver on the ground. There should be 2 Reaver by the time that makes its way across. A nice counter hit. This is exactly what Bayaster needs to get back into this. Shuttle's taking some damage. It should be able to get to home base before anything too crazy happens, but the more you can slow Fischei down throughout this, the better. Fischei pressing in for some additional attacks. Do we have 2 Reavers in this shuttle? Yes, we got 2 Reavers in the shuttle, but that shuttle is very weak. We have 3 Reavers in the fight overall. The base in the upper left-hand corner is up, by the way. So now the timer is out there for Fischei. Big shots on the front, both directions. The shuttle not taking some damage. So both players going after the Dragoon edge. A lot of these Dragoons getting away from Fischei, though, along that right-hand edge. I think they're wanting to target the high ground and having trouble doing so, but Fischei still in a great situation where he might win the game right here. 1 Reaver down. This second Reaver goes down unprotected. I think that's going to be it. I think now Fischei has too much on the front. And these Dragoons, unfortunately, are allowing splash to happen. As I say that, no, never mind. A lot of these Dragoons getting wiped out here. Fischei actually backing up. He didn't have, it looks like he didn't continue with the rally. He kept a lot of the units to the low ground. He's going to grab his third, feeling like, okay, I did a lot of damage. And he does not know that this base is now winding up in the upper left. It doesn't matter, though, because Bayaster needs that just to stay alive in the midst of this. And, oh, nice counter double attack here from Fischei. Attacking in here, and it looks like Bayaster recognizing he can't defend this natural expansion. I think this is still Fischei's game at this stage. He's going to be able to take out this natural. Fischei also grabbing his own third. Yeah, there's GG from Bayaster. Great play from Fischei. He's looking sharp. Looking absolutely sharp in this game 1. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for listening.